Hello. In our previous tutorial, we prepared the coffee cup image for placing into a printed magazine ad. This week we're going to backtrack just a little bit and go over how to set up the beginning ad file in Illustrator. Print magazines can be a variety of sizes, but the most common is 8 3/8 inches wide by 10 7/8 inches high. For this exercise, we're going to be using the dimensions of 8.5 by 11 inches. First, we'll start up the Illustrator application. We then go to the File menu and select New to set up a new document. I'm going to call this simply Magazine Ad. The profile will be Print, and we are just going to use one artboard. The size can remain letter, as that is a standard 8.5 by 11 inch sheet. Over in the Units drop-down menu, I'm going to select Inches, and then double check that the width and height say 8.5 and 11 respectively. Last but not least, I'm going to set up a bleed area for the design. A standard bleed area is 1/8 inch, or in other words 0.125 inches on all sides. A bleed is when elements such as an image, background color, or even sometimes text literally run off the page. Anytime you see a design where the artwork goes all the way to the edge, this is a bleed. In printing, to achieve a bleed, the artwork in the digital file must actually extend beyond the bleed area so that when the page is printed and trimmed down, the artwork will still appear to extend all the way to the edges. Also, a 1/8 inch bleed is considered a standard size, but always be sure to check with your printing professional when setting up digital files in case they use different specifications. Next, we can click the Advanced arrow at the bottom of the dialog box, and you'll see that it's set up using the CMYK color mode at 300 ppi, which is exactly what we need for a printed ad such as this. We can now see the artboard for our ad, and the red line around the outside indicates the bleed area. Any artwork we create that needs to be extended to the edges of the page will need to go all the way past that red line to ensure that it will be printed and trimmed properly. Our client has provided us with a PDF that includes the company logo, the color palette, and the typography that have been approved for the corporate identity. I'm going to now open this in Illustrator so that we can access those elements. I'll now copy the logo using Command+C. I'm on a Mac, but if you're on a PC, you'll want to use Control+C. Then click on the tab for my ad file and paste the logo onto the blank page. You'll notice that when I place the logo, the Pantone colors making up the logo are placed into our swatches panel so that they can easily be accessed again when needed. The client is advertising the grand opening of the coffee shop and wants to create a fall theme in the ad, so she has supplied us with an image file of leaves to use as the background for part of the design. She then would like for us to place the coffee cup, which we masked last week, over the background, which is why she had us hide the original background. If we weren't going to place an image in the background but wanted a solid color instead, we could just insert a new layer, drag it to the bottom of the Layers panel, and then draw a rectangle filled with any color that the client specified. Notice how I drew it to extend past the bleed line. However, since the client wants to use a photo instead, I'm going to delete the solid color and then go to File, Place, and place the image of the leaves. It's a little large, so I'm going to hold down the Shift key to keep it in the proper proportion. And I'm going to place it so that it spans across the center of the page. I'm going to leave some white space above it to add text, specifically a grand opening headline. And I'm also going to allow the image to extend beyond the bleed area on the left and right so that when the ad is printed, the leaves will go all the way to the edges of the page. The other thing I'm going to do is lessen the opacity of the image. I'm just going to take it down to 65%. So that the cup will show up better against the background when I bring it into the file. We'll now go to File Place and navigate to the masked cup image. Next, we'll click Place. Pay special attention to how the background that was originally there is gone. However, if we wanted to go back into the Photoshop file and modify the mask to show some or all of the background, we could do that since we didn't actually erase those original pixels. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and then place the cup near the center of the page. We would now be ready to begin adding the text that our client has requested. I hope that this tutorial has helped you to better understand how to set up a full-color magazine ad in Illustrator using supplied graphics and images that you've prepared yourself. These techniques can now be applied to creating the magazine ad portion of the final project. Thank you for watching.